Our entire team was with you through that storm, and tonight we are revisiting some of the people we spoke with back then and seeing what, if anything, has changed. We start with News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval. He met a woman whose home was flooded by Hurricane Ian. He was there in the hours after the storm and is live now in Daytona Beach with more on how she is doing tonight. And Eric, unfortunately, we understand she is still dealing with damage.
Yes, she is, Lisa. Her name is Katie Thigpen. And, you know, we were really hoping to give you an uplifting, happy ending for Katie here a year later. But, you know, when we knocked on her door here earlier this week, we really found out not a lot had changed. And now she is asking the entire community to help her get results. Can I take her? Okay.
Thank you.
We first met Katie Thigpen last year as she was wading through Hurricane Ian's floodwaters, trying to find a dry spot to take her dog to. How's your house?
Flooded up to above my knees from front to back.
You remember us from last year?
Yes.
How's your year been?
Not good. I'm just doing the best I can with what I have to do it with.
Tell me what's going on.
I have black mold in my house. I have mushrooms growing out of my walls. FEMA denied to give me any help, you know, so I'm just stuck with what I have.
Katie gave us face masks to wear.
If you can look here, this is where I had the mold and I bleached it so much till the paint's coming out.
As she gave us a tour inside the home where she still lives.
You can come in and I can show you where I've gotten most of the mushrooms and the black mold. I have to spray this daily to try and keep the mold down. This was all covered with mildew, mushrooms growing all out. This wall here had the mushrooms growing out, and I showed that to the FEMA lady when she came out. She's like, I'd never seen that before.
So, you know, we're wearing masks. You're not. Are you afraid of what this is doing to your health?
Yeah, I'm like, I've been in here all this time. You know, it's whatever damage is done is done.
This can't be doing good things to your mind either in your emotional state.
No.
Some take it here as a full-fledged hurricane.
When they said the storm was coming last night, I'm telling you, I literally had a meltdown. I mean, I totally just panicked. And my daughter's calling. She's like, well, Ma, it's going the other way now. It's going the other way now. And I just couldn't get it back. I couldn't get myself back.
You need help.
I really do.
Let's see if we can get you some help, okay?
So, Eric, I'm surprised that FEMA did not help her first. Does she have any sort of insurance that could possibly help her?
No, she doesn't. And that's mainly because she had a roofing issue and she can't afford the homeowner's insurance here. This house is flooded before, so she couldn't get flood insurance, and that is why FEMA denied her claim. You know, right now she's basically reaching out to the community. She's needing somebody to come inside, get rid of the black mold, get rid of the mushrooms, just get rid of the damp drywall there. And she's just really counting on the community to help her get results.
It's so
We're live
tough.
in Daytona Beach. Eric Sandoval, Getting Results, News 6.
Yeah,
Lisa.
Eric's.
Homes and businesses that flooded earlier this month now face a new threat. Fungus.
The Vermont Health Department says if your building didn't dry out completely within 24 to 48 hours after the water receded, assume you have mold growing.
In tonight's Health Watch, our Christina Guestford takes a trip to central Vermont where she gets tips from experts on how to combat mycotoxin contamination.
Naturopathic physician Dr. Lauren Tessier has been waging a war against mold-related illness here at her Waterbury office for 10 years. Now, the very toxin she's been battling for more than a decade is the reason why she must leave her practice.
You can't help but take notice that my time here has been bookended by floods.
Lauren Tessier launched her practice Life After Mold following Tropical Storm Irene, motivated to educate and treat Vermonters with mold illness from water-damaged buildings. Now, a cruel irony, her business becoming a casualty.
I'm working on trying to navigate how I can get back on my feet as a provider so that way I can help my community go through what's happening right now.
Though only the basement of the building was submerged in water, Tessier says fungi particulate, including mold spores, can become airborne in high humidity, settling on hard surfaces like linoleum or absorbing into porous materials like upholstery. Mold, or so-called mycotoxins, Tessier says, are fat-soluble and can bury into our tissues through our lungs and skin.
All of our cells have fat on the inside, and all of the little pieces of machinery inside our cells are made of fat.
Tessier explains the medical community widely accepts two mainstream categories of mold illness: allergic reaction and fungal infection. Common histamine symptoms include breathing difficulties, itchy eyes, runny nose, coughing, sneezing, and rashes. There are also two major types of molds: wet and sticky.
Those molds almost look as though someone went in with a Sharpie marker and made little black dots on wood.
And dry and powdery.
And that's when we see the poofy, fuzzy, kind of fluffy mold.
Color, she stresses, doesn't matter. All are dangerous.
They can be black, they can be green, they can be white.
Often moisture where mold thrives is difficult to detect, hidden beneath baseboards, for example. That's why she's urging any home or business owner with soggy properties hire a mold removal expert.
Vermonters be Vermonters. People have actually done a great deal of the drying out work.
Green Home Solutions co-owner Robert Brown says his company is conducting an average of 10 inspections per day in central Vermont, helping people effectively evaporate moisture by improving air circulation and reducing humidity. The wait time for removal between 2 to 3 weeks. Brown says he's encouraged by the outpouring of volunteers, tearing out drywall and pulling up carpet, strategies paramount to staving off mold growth.
And then we're following behind to help them detail it.
Details like isolating infected areas by sealing doors and draping plastic to prevent cross-contamination. Professionals like his team can identify evidence of mold growth. He cautions blowing fans on spots where mold has already formed will only spread the spores. Another big mistake he's seeing people make?
They'll have like 3 dehumidifiers going in their basement and like 5 fans or whatever, but they have all the windows open.
And Brown urges always wear protective equipment, goggles, gloves, and high-grade face masks in contaminated areas while you wait for a cleaning specialist. In central Vermont, Christina Gesford, Channel 3 News.
Danny, thanks for being with us here. If your house is flooded, what is the first thing you should do?
Well, certainly the most common way a house is flooded is when you have the heavy rains and adjacent water will infiltrate the home. Well, it can also flood within with similar problems and similar disruptions and damage. That's exactly what happened to me in my house. The washing machine hose burst and it flooded. It just provided hundreds of gallons of water in my house. It came out here, and because I have this sunken living room, I had about 3 or 4 inches of water here. So if you're going back into your home, you need to do exactly what I did, and that's get all of the carpet out of here. Originally it had carpet here, so all of the carpet out. We also raised all of the furniture up on bricks so that I could bring in my fans and dehumidifiers and really try to dry it out as much as possible. But if the water's gotten so deep that it's gotten up above your electrical outlets, then it's time, the first call is to call your electrician to make sure it's safe to go back in your home, and of course call that insurance company, because a lot of people will be calling. Be first on that list.
All right, Danny, it's probably seasonal, the answer to this question, in terms of timing, but how quick does the mold start to set in?
Well, it's amazing and a little bit scary that within 24 to 48 hours, mold can start forming, especially in the most ideal conditions, and that is when it's moist and wet and warm. Certainly, those are the conditions that it'll certainly grow very, very quickly. So, again, drying out is the best thing you can do. If any of your curtains got wet or any of the fabric within your house got wet, it has to go outside and open the windows and doors if the weather is conducive to that. Yeah. And just even when you think everything's nice and dry, keep drying it out. That's the very best thing you can do to keep the mold and mildew at bay.
Dan, we have literally 1 minute left here. So what should someone do if they start to see mold grow? Do you spray it with Clorox? Do you cut everything out? Do you call professional help?
Well, certainly, if you have any drywall that's gotten wet, you'll want to cut that above the flood line. Go ahead and get that out, because insulation may be in the wall, especially if it's an outside wall, and you need to get all of that out of there. Now, in order for a little precaution there, you can use bleach and water solution if it's a non-porous surface, but you're dealing with a lot of porous surfaces here with 2x4s and other trim and other things that you might be working with. White vinegar, straight white vinegar will soak into that porous wood and prevent that mold and mildew. So bleach and water when it's hard surface, and go with the vinegar when it's a porous surface. And also antimicrobial sprays available at any home center. It's a very easy way to prevent that mold and mildew from growing in your home.
Breaking down walls for a new home and a new life. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tori McGee. From a serious car crash to losing just about everything they own, a community is now helping one family start from scratch. News Center 7's Malik Patterson joins us live from Clark County now. And Malik, this is all being made possible through the Big Love Project.
Yeah, that's right, Tori. The house is actually right behind me. I'll step out of the way so you can see it. It looks like a complete construction site on the front lawn, and that is exactly what they're calling it, the Big Love Project.
I live my life out of love, out of taking care of people. It feeds my soul.
Ben Roberts is the owner of JC Bandit, being in business a little over a year now.
It is dusty.
Roberts has made a reputation of doing housework for those who need it most.
I mean, I would take care of everybody in the world if I could.
And some of those people are the Whitfield family. After getting into a serious car accident a couple years ago, Bo Whitfield has been recovering from a broken neck, back, punctured lung, 27 head stitches in his face, and more. Bo and his wife hoped moving from Georgia to Clark County would give them and their 2 kids a fresh start. But after the move, they found out that was not going to be the case.
A year ago, they bought their house. It was done shoddy work. They covered up a bunch of black mold, so they double layered the drywall through the entire house, buried black mold and termites.
Back in August, the Whitfields had no choice but to move into an RV in their driveway as they figured out the expensive renovations.
Great progress. We need to get some more drywall down.
Then along came Project Big Love.
We've got people coming in to actually treat the house for mold and clean the vents and everything before we start putting new product back in, to get it right, to make it livable and safe for the kids and the family, man. That's what it's about.
Roberts told me what started off as one company project turned into a community effort.
Other contractors like, hey, we'll paint, hey, we'll hang the driveway, hey, we'll do the floors, we'll donate 10 gallons of gray paint, 5 gallons of white paint. I've got a list in my head and a list on the phone.
Since starting this project, JC Bandit has gotten several calls of people wanting to help. So I asked Ben Roberts if this was something that he sees himself doing again.
This isn't something that I want to be known for, but you know what? At the same time, I'd love it. I'd be a motivational speaker if I could.
Robert said he wants to get the Whitfield family back into their home by Valentine's Day this year. And you want to help with them and help donate to this Big Love Project. All of that information is on our website, WHIO.com. In Clark County, Malik Patterson, News Center 7.